ॐ आप्यान्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक् प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदं माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु तदात्मनि निरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु। ओम शांति शांति शांति।
Mahopanisad, 6th chapter, verse 28. We had seen that this samsara is the climax of sorrow. That being so, how is it ever possible to get the joy, happiness in this samsara? If we think by some means we'll be able to derive happiness from this world samsara, it is our greatest mistake. Take for instance, to derive happiness from the world, what is the first and foremost investment you have to make? What is the first and foremost investment you have to make to derive happiness from this word samsara? You should have two things. One is bhogayatana, other is bhoga sadhana. Bhogayatana is our body. Like a shopkeeper sitting in the shop does the trade, so also we have to have a shop, a locus, and that is our physical body. Ayatana, ashraya, abode. Next one is the sadhana, means bhoga sadhana, that is antakarana, mana buddhi. Without this, we cannot derive happiness from the jagat. But if analyzed with an impartial attitude, these two, bhogayatana and bhoga sadhana, are infested with sorrows. Body, physical body is abode of so many diseases and sorrows. Janma marana, greatest sorrow. Mind, intellect, don't ask at all. Fickle, wavering, it gives all sorrows. With this investment of sorrow, we are embarking on our project of deriving happiness from the world. Even if we get a little happiness, it is at the cost of enormous sorrows. We should have some sense of commerce. So in this samsara, which is the climax of sorrow, how is it ever possible to get happiness? Means it is just not possible. Then we are already in samsara. We can't just come out of this samsara. Then what should be our approach towards samsara? How should we interact with this world? Here is a suggestion. Here is a good, what is that, solution. Be in this samsara. You have to, whether you want or not, helplessly, you have to interact with the samsara world. But if you take to this attitude and this approach, you will be unscathed by the sorrow of samsara. Not only that, you will gain what you aspire for, and that is Paramananda Swarup. Read 28.
27 Swami. Prabuddhosmi, Prabuddhosmi.
Continue.
Prabuddhosmi, Prabuddhosmi. Dushtashtoroyamatmanaha. Manohanimenam. Manasasmi tiram rataha.
This samsara, which is climax of sorrows, wherein this body abides, and it is difficult to acquire happiness. In that case, see, what we have to handle, where our means, sadhanas, to acquire happiness in this sorrowful samsara should begin. This problem of samsara, sorrow, is produced by none other than our mind. Better you know this for yourself. It is this mind which projects the samsara. No mind, no samsara. In sleep, no mind. Temporarily, no samsara. So therefore, know for certain that this is the mind is the culprit. And once you know that it is culprit, end it. This verse appears in Yoga Vasishta also. Once Janaka was going for a walk in his pleasure gardens. The emperor, along with bodyguards, are there, like our SBG today to the Prime Minister. But he wanted solitude. Even guards, he didn't know. He just signaled. They understood. They didn't proceed further. And Janaka went in the interior of his forest, or what is called garden. He had a ready frame of mind to gain Atma Jnana, Brahma Jnana. But Vichara he had not taken to. So at one place, he heard some siddhas sitting on the top of a tree and discussing. There were 4 or 5 of them. When he heard the narration of each and every one, Janaka being ripe enough to grasp it, in fact, he uttered these words. Prabuddhosmi drishta choro yamagat atmana bano namam nyanmenam manasa apicharam. This is the words he uttered. The culprit, main culprit is the mind. Prabuddha asmi, I am awake now. I have awakened. Prabuddha asmi means he is happy now. Oh, chor ko pakda bhi. Why? Atmana ayam choraha drishta. The thief, the thief who robs away the Atma Swarupa, I have now found. Who is that? Namely, Manahanama, called as the mind. Now I will not leave this person. Enam nihanmi. I am going to destroy this mind. Why? Because Manasa chiram hataha. For a long period, I have been hataha, destroyed, tortured by this mind in terms of samsara experiences. The problem lies on the mind. Destroy the mind, samsara goes. See, let us analyze this. Our problem is sorrow, is it not? If happiness comes, do you ever complain? No. Sorrow. If happiness comes, you have not complained. What is that? It is going. Sorrow comes, you have got to complain. It is not going. Actually, they are not permanent. They come and go. Agama payana. But our concept is that all the times happiness must be there. Never sorrow should come. Therefore, now whether it is joy or sorrow, how do we experience? What is the means which presents us the experiences of joys and sorrows? Is it not vrittis? There will be different vrittis. Sorrow vrittis may be gross vrittis. Happiness vrittis may be priya moda pramoda, subtle vrittis. They presented as what? Where are they centered in? Mind. So it is the mind which projects the joys and sorrows. So therefore, what I do at the same time, this mind by itself is inert in nature. though inert in nature, for practical purpose, it is sachetana, sentient. What is that entity which makes this inert mind sentient? That is to be what? Discovered. Because though mind has the capacity to give joys and sorrows in terms of vrittis, vrittis are inert in nature. That which elements the vritti must be the one which is the ultimate principle, in whose presence sorrows and Vishaya Sukhas come and go. A little further probe reveals that Vishaya Sukha really doesn't belong to the Vishayas. It is Swarupa, nature, our Swarupa. So that being the case, so this must be our attitude when we interact with the world. Read 28.
Ma khedam bhaja heyeshu nopadeya paro bhava heya deya drushau tyaktva sheshastha susthiro bhava.
Yeshu khedam ma bhaja upadeya paraha na bhava heyadeya drishau tyaktva sheshastha susthira bhava. Yeshu, those entities, those things, beings, and events which are heya, worthy to be discarded. As for the entities worthy to be discarded, Kedamma bhaja, have no grudge about them. Have no grudge about them, about the things to be what? Given up or abandoned. As for the things to be abandoned, don't have grudge. Ayo, musibat, all these, whatever to do with all these, etc., always remorse. Be indifferent. At the same time, upadeya parahana bhava. Do not crave the desirable. Discarding the undesirable, hankering the desirable. This is our whole preoccupation in life. We may do millions of things, but all those efforts can be bracketed into these two categories. Heya, upadeya. Undesirable, get rid of them. Desirable, acquire them. Say, give up both. Heya, deya, drishau, tyaktva. So, drishi. Drishi here is notion. Tyaktva, having given up the notion of acquisition and rejection. This should I should acquire, that I should reject. Having given up this notion, sheshasthaha susthiraha bhava. Let your mind be absorbed in the remaining principle, which is common for Heya and Upadeya. What is it? Adhisthana Chaitanya. Go to the basis Adhisthana Chaitanya, give up this Heya, Upadeya, things to be acquired, things to be rejected. That's what is happened. You will not be affected by joys and sorrows of the world because you are totally indifferent about them. They may come and go because of prarabdha. You have no other choice there. But your mind is centered where? In the basis adhisthana, Satchidananda Atma Brahma. Where you have to go to find out this? Nowhere. Be where you are. Only redirect the attention from Heya, Adeya, in other words, Vishayas, and take toward the appreciation of their basis, the Chaitanya, Atma, Adhisthana. Now you may say, yes, that is the solution. But आदत के बंदे, you know what is आदत के बंदे? Slaves of habit. By habit, we gravitate towards the Vishayas. What is that? What do you mean by habit? Our past sanskaras, our past vasanas. How to get rid of them? For which the Upanishad is describing the features of a person who has given up these notions of Heya Upadeya, how he conducts oneself in life. Those features need to be imbibed by a person who would like to get rid of Heya Upadeya. Just as the features of Sita Prajna or a Bhakta or Gunatita are the sadhanas for the mumuksha. So here is a person who has given up Heya Upadeya, and these are his features. They serve as the means for a sadhaka to accomplish giving up of desirable and undesirable. Read 29 and 30 together.
निराशता निर्भयता नित्यता समता ज्ञता निरीहता निष्क्रियता सौम्यता निर्विकल्पता द्रुमैत्री मनस्तुष्टिः मृदुता मृदुभाषिता हेयोपादेय निर्मुक्ते नेतिष्ठन्त्यपवासनम्.
Take fourth line. Heyopadeya nirmukte dne. Go to first line. Nirashata. Nirbhayata. Nityata. Samata. Jnata. Nirihata, Nishkriyata, Saumyata, Nirvikalpata, Dhrutihi. What is there in your book? Huh?
Dhrur Maitrihi.
Dhru Maitri.
Hmm.
Take Dhrutir Maitri. It should be that way. Dhrutihi Maitri, Dhrutir Maitri. Manastushtihi, Mruduta, Mrudubhashata, Apavasanam Tishtanti, Apavasanam Tishtanti. Says, in the person who is Jnana, Atmajnani, Brahmajnani, the Ne, locative of Jnana is Ne. In that Jnani, and who is that Jnani? Heyopadeya Nirmukti, one who is free from notions of acquisition of desirable things, rejection of undesirable ones. In that person, all these abide, all these are found. What are those? Nirashata, Nirashata. Don't take Nirasha, hopelessness. Freedom from desires, expectations, and yes, expectation. Freedom from desires and expectations. A common person is effervescing with desires and expectations. This person is what? Shanta. Why? He has acquired what needs to be acquired. There is nothing that can be acquired. He has discovered that everything is me and me alone, the Parabrahma, Paramanda Sarupa. Where is the question of me acquiring myself? This is not lip service. This is the vision of this jnana. The jnani. Nirashata. Nirbhayata. Freedom from fear. How fear comes? Because of impending loss, destruction, sorrow that can come to us. Is it no? Or of losing something. This person has nothing to acquire, has nothing to give up, and he does not depend on anything whatsoever, including this body. Where is the room for any fear? Room for any fear? The body will get destroyed. That is the one whose nature is to get destroyed, can got destroyed. Where do I come in picture? Somebody said something was wealth was stolen. And this person is unperturbed. Hey, are you not sorrowful that wealth is stolen? No. Why? It was expected all along. Wherever wealth is there, thief also will be there. Today he has come, he has taken. It is possible provided person is Jnaha. He has nothing to get from anything, nor to lose from anything. So Nirbhayata, Nityata, eternity. Me, the Chaitanya Sarupa is what? Ever existent principle, never born, never subject to change, never subject to destruction. Eternity. Samata, equality. Shunichaiva Shvapakecha Pandita Samadarshana. People, beings, objects may vary, but in and through them, one adhisthana is there. That is Atma Sarupa, Chaitanya Sarupa, Brahma Sarupa. Samata. In Vishama Jagat, they are able to see in and through the Sama Atma, Sama Brahma. How come all this? Because they have got Jnata, wisdom in the sense of Atma Jnana, Brahma Jnana. They have got Brahma Vidya, the highest knowledge. And because highest knowledge, highest gain of moksha. Jnata. Nirihata, that is freedom from desire. Nishkriyata, actionlessness. Actions are there so long as you have to acquire something. You have to fulfill a desire. He has nothing to desire for. He is full and complete. Therefore, Nishkriya. Not lazy or anything as such. He has nothing to accomplish, therefore nothing to do. Saumyata, gentleness. Gentle, very gentle. Why? See, we are very friendly and gentle with our own people, is it not? We may be harsh, etc., for enemies and all that. For people. For this person, was that entire Jagat is nothing but his Swarupa only. He is gentle with everyone. See, at times it depends on disposition. A great Mahatma said this. He had seen personally somewhere beyond Gangotri, not Gangotri, on the way to Gangotri beyond Uttarkashi, there was a Mahatma. And because of some disease or something, his leg was ulcerated and the wound was such that there were many worms. Can you tolerate? And do you know what is surprise? At times, these worms were going out of that wound. And this Mahatma lovingly used to pick up and put back in that wound. See, to what extent it doesn't have Devatadatmya. At the same time, concern for a worm that also in his a wound in his leg. Gentle. Of course, very extreme it is, but it is not it is a seen and reported. The Mahatma was a great reporter. So that is a saumyata, gentleness. Because in that he sees even Brahma in that worm also, not lip service. For us, it may be something a scene that is aghast. It depends on the prarabdha of the jnani. Once it happened, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was going for a walk in the evening. And he saw at a garbage can a mad-like person picking up the crumbs and eating. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, because his vision, he could make out this person is a jnani. And his prarabdha is like this. He exclaimed to Mother Kali, "Oh Mother, let me not be like this. Let me not be like this." Even who Gajanan Maharaj of Maharashtra from Shegaon, even today, big Samsthana is there, well maintained. Pilgrims are very well cared for. They send transport to station and all that. The accommodation, etc., very nominal rates. So whatever, and very pleasure garden and all that, very well maintained. Shegaon Gajan Maharaj. He was Avadhuta. No bodies, no clothes on the body. First, he when he was spotted out, was like this. In that place, a rich person, because of some festival or something, had hosted the lunch for all the people in the village. Rich, poor, all people were invited, and they were being fed. One wise man, learned scholar, he ate the food and he was going out. What they are doing, as and when the rows were finished, the leaves they were throwing outside the corner of the street. When this scholarly person was going on, he found one Avadhuta, young Avadhuta, picking up thrown out things, means whatever that remains in the leaves and eating. Because of his knowledge, etc., he could make out this person is not an ordinary person. He is a great Mahatma. He could make out, somehow he could make out that. And he went back and told the host, "Look, this one great Mahatma is there. Take in a plate, food and offer him. He is eating like this." Of course, the host immediately this got to get went. Gajan Maharaj didn't take anything. He simply asked, "Give me water." So water was given and he drank the water, but he didn't eat. But earlier he was doing this. We don't know. It is all guided by what? Prarabdha. That is it. See, in fact, Gajan, he was contemporary of this Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Lokmanya Tilak. Freedom movement was going on. And then, of course, we should know these Mahatmas. These Tilak, etc., the freedom fighter thought that he has got such a huge followers of devotees. We should make use of him. So we have to take him to a meeting so that his followers also will come and they will be siding. They were siding. Requested. He said yes. Okay. The big altar was made. High on the pedestal, he was made to sit. And Lokmanya Tilak started talking, etc. And he was, he started consenting him so that enthusing and people also inspired him. Hoy. Talk was over. He called Lokmanya, अरे तू असा बोललास तर ते सरकार तुला सोडेल काय? राजा आहे तो, तुला दंड देणार. He cautioned him, don't speak like this. But then he said, yes. And what was to happen did happen. He was given the punishment of Kala Pani. No, Kala Pani means Andaman Nicobar. That is what he was sent there. Before that, the devotees, because before the verdict was to come, other devotees approached Gajan Maharaj. Please do something. He said, nothing can be done. You will have to face it. But he gave one piece of dry rotis and told, give it to Tilak. I don't know what it was, we don't know. But Tilak had no shraddha in that. He didn't take it. Then of course, he was sent to this sentence. So like this, we don't know how they behave. Strange at times. But one more incident, I will tell you how it happened. Nearby town means nearby means not very near. You have to go by train. One devotee was there. And he was repeatedly requesting Gajan Maharaj to come to his place. And he was not responding. He was not going and he was not responding. Then the attendant who was attending Gajan Maharaj, why don't you go there? Please go. He said, no, you have to. I will take it. He said, look, don't do foolishness. No, I will take it. So the attendant, look, you'll land in problem. Still, he didn't listen. One day, somehow, he managed to take him. They sat on the platform. Train was yet to come. Train came. He got up and went and sat in the ladies' compartment. Do this. You and cry. They were not local ladies. Local ladies know he is a Mahatma. Passing passenger. And the complaint went. Station master. Station master came running. He knows he is a devotee. The Maharaj, please listen. He is not getting up at all. And afterwards, somehow he was persuaded to come out of it. But meanwhile, olden days, someone sent a telegram to the British officials. Such and such thing will happen. They said, arrest him and bring. Police went. Maharaj, chala. He didn't respond. And he forced, अरे तुझी पोलीसगिरी मला दाखवतोस तू. What did he? He held the hand of the police so tight, come on, get release your hand. The police could not take his hand out from his grip. He was humiliated and he was left. And he went and reported not coming, etc. But an inquiry commission came. That means Jal Maharaj has to be present in that inquiry commission. Just somewhere like that, no, like PW works. Some government office is sitting, that officer, inquiring officer. Do that. He is not ready to go. Then devotee said, Maharaj, you will have to go. Otherwise, this will create too much of complication because of government order. Okay. He went. And that if the inquiring officer was his devotee, he got up. अरे तुला कोणी सांगितलंय सर? But he has to do his duty. आपलं नाव काय? He has to do this. What is your name? मी सर्वत्र आहे. ते गजानन महाराज म्हणतात. And he knew what Gajana Maharaj did. You know what he did? He wrote the right things. This saint is at the level of such, what is that, accomplishment, that he is not aware of his physical body. That is why an attendant is kept with him, so that such things should not happen as happened that he went and sat in the ladies' compartment. It was the verdict given by that officer. It was the mistake of that attendant who was negligible in his duties. Therefore, I hereby fine him ₹5. Those days, ₹5 is a big amount. And that poor fellow had to pay. तुला सांगितलं होतं ना मी, don't insist. Things will not be good for you. Now pay ₹5. Like that. We don't know. You can't imagine how they behave, etc. So that is again here. This person is this gentle because he sees Sama Brahma in all. Just as we are very gentle with our own kith and kin. For him, there is no alien person. Paraya, someone not mine, is not there. Nirvikalpata. Nirvikalpata means Bheda Rahitya. Vedas are at Upadhi levels. He is appreciating Upadhi-less Atma, Brahma, Chaitanya. So Nirvikalpata or Nirvikalpata can be taken as absorption of the mind in Swarupa. Dhrutihi, steadfastness in the knowledge of oneself. Maitri, friendliness with everyone. Alien is not there. All are nothing but my Swarupa only. Manastushtihi, contentment, always contented. No hankering for wishes, always content. Manastushti. Mruduta, softness, softness with others. Mrudu bhashata, soft speech, not harsh speech, not speech which hurts others, even though it may be true. Satya, Priya, and Hita, Vachanamastit. To speak the truth, at the same time it should be pleasing, and yet it should be beneficial. If these three features are not there, don't talk, shut your mouth. If you say something, it will create agitation, sorrow in the mind of others. There is no rule that we have to talk or you have to answer. No, you know that. I heard. This nowadays, lot of this ED enforcement director inquiries are going on. One politician who thinks himself too much, he started, what is your name, etc. The officer, three officers there, they simply smiled. They are not what expected to give their identity. It's where they should not give. They will create problem. They simply smiled. Anybody, someone asks, there is no reason that you have to smile, reply only. Where it is necessary, reply, otherwise keep quiet. Mridubhashata. These are abiding jnani, but how? Apavasanam, free from vasanas for vishayas. Tishthanti, ne tishthanti. They abide in the jnani. Continue.
Gruhita Trishna Shabari Vasana Jalamasatam Samsaravari Prasrutam Chinta Tantu Bhiratatam.
This samsara is like a net of a hunter or a fisherman. Described. Cut it off and get freed from it. This samsara is like this. Grihita Trishna Shabari Vasana Jalama. Shabari. Shabari is what? A tribal woman. Spread that net for catching the birds. This samsara is atatam, spread with vasana jala, huge net of vasana, past sanskara. Spread by whom? Grihita Trishna Shabari. The Shabari, tribal woman, in the form of Trishna, insatiable thirst for Vishayas. Grihita, caught means spread. And wherein what water is there? Like a fisherman's water net. Samsaravari prasrutam. Again, chinta tantubihi samsaravari prasrutam atatam. Chinta tantubihi, by the strings of chinta, anxiety and concern, which is samsaravari prasutam. All is filled up with what? Samsaravari. Samsaravari, the Mrigajala of samsara, the mirage water of samsara, filled with anxiety and concern. Continue.
अनया तीक्ष्णया तात छिन्धि बुद्धिशलाकया वाच्येवाम्बुदं जालं छित्त्वा तिष्ठत ते पदे.
Tat anaya tikšnaya buddhishalakaya chindi vatya ambudam iva jalam chitva tatam pade tishtha. Tatam pade tishtha. Tata Swani, Prabhu is addressing Idag. Look, anaya tikšnaya buddhishalakaya chindi. This net spread by the tribal woman in the form of Trishna, hankering for Vishayas. Chindi, cut aside by what? Shalakaya, by the arrow. What shalaka? Buddhi shalakaya. By the arrow of Atma Jnana. Buddhi shalakaya. And whatever. Tikshnaya, very sharp. Chindi, destroy. An illustration is given. Vatya ambudam iva. Vatya, by a strong wind. Ambuda is cloud, which gives rain, water. Ambudam. So just by the powerful wind, how cloud, mass of clouds are totally disturbed, either at that kasa. And that way, jalam chitva, having cut asunder this samsara jala, net of samsara in the form of Krishna, etc. Tate pade tishta, in that tatapada, vistratapada, all for is a Brahma, remain that, abide in that. So this is how, what you say, you should give up vasanas. For which, what is the means to be employed? It is the mind only. We'll see.
स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्ताम् न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः वो ब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यम् लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं शोभरहितः ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ